Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Jabran here from Realco Capital. I hope you're doing well this evening. So today we're talking about what Emaar is selling right now in Dubai, this is part 2 of the series. The previous one talked about villas and townhouses. This one we're talking about Emaar's apartment developments. And so if you're a buyer right now, if you look at this map over here and you're looking at everything that Emaar has built or is building, right? Everything in green is mature. Everything in orange is partially delivered. Everything in red is completely under construction, right? So these are all of their developments, villas and townhouses. These are their mature developments, right? So Marina and Downtown are their major apartment developments which are mature, and everything in this map here is showing you partially delivered projects and where a lot of future development can also take place. So let's look at these one by one. So if you look at Emaarsouth over here, we just talked about their townhouse opportunities in the previous video, but if you're looking at the apartments, there's nothing available here for sale. There's some ready buildings, and there will be future apartment developments launched here as well for sure, but I don't think there's any plans for that at the moment. And then if you look at Dubai Hills, again, there's nothing available here for sale. Everything's sold out, even in the under construction buildings. Of course, if you've seen the master plan of the Bay Hills, we know that there's provision for future residential and commercial buildings, right? So that is something that will definitely happen in the future, but as of right now, there's nothing in the Bay Hills. So beyond these two communities, Emaar's major apartment developments are Emaar Beachfront and the Bay Creek Harbour. And this is the two areas which are current real estate hotspots, a lot of activity that's happening over here, and we're going to talk about these in a bit more detail. So if we're looking at Emaar Beachfront, I think there's a lot of content out there. Everyone's pretty familiar with this development by now, but essentially, these are high-rise projects. This island is developed exclusively by Emaar, and there's only 2 rows of buildings, and both of them open up to a beach. So half of the buildings face the palm and the sea, and the other half, face the marina and the iconic skyline. So at the moment, Emaar don't have a single apartment here, for sale. So what happens from time to time is there are some cancel units that come out, usually not the most prime units, but they do get booked up pretty quickly. And then, if you're a buyer right now for Emaar Beachfront and you do want to, buy off plan and from the developer potentially, then we do know that in the next few weeks, there will be, 2-tower development that's launched approximately on this side of the island. So it's going to be address branded residences facing the sea and the skyline. So if you want to learn more about that, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our number is here on the screen. So if you look at the last launch that took place in Emaar Beachfront, which was in quarter 3 of last year, it was for Beach Mansion. So it's a complex of 2 buildings, and so 1 beds were from 2 million, 2 beds from around 2.5 to 3.6 million. But the units that actually get the prime views in these towers are the 3 and the 4 bedrooms, right? So the 3 and 4 bedrooms would get the prime views this way or towards the palm and the sea. If you're looking at this chart over here, this is showing you every complex that's been launched so far. So you can see the majority of the island has now been launched. So just a few plots that are available, and the new launch is actually going to be coming up over here, right? So these are going to be the address branded residences. So when these things are launched, they sell out pretty rapidly, and the reason for that is they launch these kind of developments a couple of times a year, and in the build up to that, there's so many buyers that are accumulated, have shown interest, and so when the launch happens, the sales are very rapid. And so looking at this render over here, this is where the 2 towers are going to be coming up, right? And so we do expect that launch to happen in a few weeks. And so the next project that we can look at when we're talking about Emaar is, of course, the Bay Creek Harbour, right? So this is going to be their major master development over the next many years. And so I think everyone's quite familiar with what's happening in the Bay Creek Harbour. It is now partially completed. It looks like this. It's the infrastructure is improving all the time. The views are incredible, and also the infrastructure is an improvement and an upgrade from downtown, and we're going to see that over a period of time. And so if we are looking at the master plan of the Bay Creek Harbour, so since 2014 they've been launching projects, and of course everything you see here in green is already ready. And then everything in red and orange is currently under construction, but these projects are pretty much all sold out, right? So if you walk into Emaar's office today, they really don't have any inventory in these towers. But there are some options that do come up from time to time, but it literally is very limited. But since the last year and a half, Emaar been concentrating on developments on this side of the Bay Creek Harbour. So this is called Creek Beach, and so you can see these are low-rise buildings that look like this. They comprise mainly of 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. There's very few 3 and 4 bedrooms at the very top. So 1 bedrooms here start from around 1.1, 1.2 million, 2 bedrooms for around 1.7, 1.8 million. They are really well priced, right? And so for what you're getting, I think they're actually spectacular investment opportunities, and that's why these buildings are launching every couple of months or maybe every quarter, and they're selling out pretty rapidly. So that's definitely something that you could look at if you wanted to buy in the Bay Creek Harbour. The second thing that you could look at is sometimes they have these kind of promotions. Currently there's a Ramadan offer that's happening, which is almost over. I apologize that this video is late, but essentially they had some canceled stock in some of these towers, right? Very limited units, and then they were offering them on special kind of payment plans. Currently I believe there's just a few options left for for this 50/50 payment plan. So if you want to learn more about that, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. So the last thing you could look at if you wanted to buy an apartment directly from the developer, from Emaar, would be in downtown, right? So in downtown, obviously we know it's a very, very mature area. Most of the buildings are completed. A few buildings and remaining complexes will be handed over the next 24 to 36 months at most. So here we have St. Regis, right? It is right next to the Opera House, and the sale started around 3 months ago. I made a video on it previously, so I'll leave a link on your screen right now if you want to do a deep dive on it. But essentially, it's branded residences. 1 beds from around 2.1 to 2.7, 2 beds from 3.5 to 4.2 million. So really, really good value for what it is, right? It's very, very special, very unique, and I think you should definitely explore that if you're looking for something very unique in an ultra luxury type location. The other thing that Emaar have right now is some penthouses here, right, which are 6,500 square feet. So they're proper penthouses, and they're for sale from prices starting from around 25 million. The other thing that you could look at if you are a buyer that's looking to purchase directly from the developer, and we're looking at downtown here, is that in some of the buildings which are under construction, from time to time we do get canceled units that come out. So this is just 2-3 examples that are on your screen right now. So they come out for cancellation, then they get sold. But for example, Act 1, Act 2, which will be handed over at the end of this year, a 1-bedroom just came out on a lower floor that's for sale for around 2 million, right? So if you would be interested in options that come out like this from time to time, you can get in touch with us and we can alert you to that. And that's it, right? So that's what Emaar is selling right now when it comes to apartments, right? So we talk about Emaar, Beachfront, the Bay Creek, Harbour, and downtown. And in the future, you could see new developments in Emaarsouth and the Bay Hills, but I don't think there are any plans for that at the moment. So that's the summary for you. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please do consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. It really does help us. And I hope that following Eid, we're going to be putting out a lot more content that will hopefully add value to you. Thank you very much.